Most men think they know what women want in the bedroom. They don't. And the gap between what men think matters and what actually creates deep, lasting desire in a woman is the reason most relationships lose their spark within the first year. Here's what's interesting: the men who understand what I'm about to share don't just have better intimate lives, they have women who pursue them, who initiate, who feel safe enough to fully let go. And it has almost nothing to do with technique. What I'm going to walk you through today are 7 psychological and emotional needs that operate beneath the surface of physical intimacy. These aren't wants, they're not preferences, they're needs wired into the way women experience safety, desire, and connection. And if you can meet even 4 of these, you'll be operating in a space most men never even know exists. Let's get into it. This isn't a tips and tricks video. I'm not here to give you moves or lines or routines. What we're talking about today is rooted in attachment psychology, nervous system regulation, and the way emotional safety functions in intimate contexts. Because here's the thing: physical intimacy doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's downstream from everything else. How she feels around you, how safe her body feels in your presence, how much she trusts you with her vulnerability. Most men focus on performance, on doing things right, on being impressive. But women aren't scoring you, they're feeling you. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what they're feeling for and why the men who get this right create experiences most women have never had before. Stick with me because the 6th need I'm going to cover is the one that separates boys from men. It's the difference between someone she sleeps with and someone she can't stop thinking about. Let's start with why most men get this so wrong. They treat intimacy like a performance review. They're in their heads thinking about what to do next, watching her reactions like a scientist trying to figure out if they're doing it right, and she can feel it. Because when you're performing, you're not present. You're managing, you're strategizing, you're trying to control an outcome. And that energy, no matter how well intentioned, creates distance. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear: she doesn't want you to impress her. She wants to feel you. She wants to feel felt by you. But you can't do that if you're stuck in your head, analyzing her body language like you're trying to pass a test. The other mistake: guys think intimacy is something that happens in isolation, that it starts when clothes come off. It doesn't. Intimacy starts hours before, sometimes days before. It's built in the way you listen to her, the way you hold space for her emotions without trying to fix them, the way you stay grounded when she's in her head. Most men don't understand that her body is listening to you all the time, not just in bed, everywhere. And if she doesn't feel safe with you emotionally, she's not going to feel safe with you physically, no matter how attracted she is to you. So, let's break down what actually works. Need number 1: she needs to feel seen, not just desired. Most men confuse lust with connection. They compliment her body, they tell her she's hot, they make it clear they want her physically, and that's fine, but it's surface level. What creates depth is when she feels like you see her, not just her appearance. When you notice the way she moves, the way her energy shifts when she's nervous, the way she lights up when she talks about something she loves, this is about presence. When you're with her, are you there? Or are you distracted, half engaged, thinking about what comes next? Because women are incredibly attuned to presence. They can feel when you're fully with them and when you're not. And in intimate moments, that attunement becomes everything. If she feels like you're going through motions or following some mental script, she'll pull back even if she doesn't say anything. But when she feels seen, when she feels like you're paying attention to her, not just her body, something unlocks. She softens. She opens. She lets you in. Here's how this shows up: you notice details. You remember things she's told you. You ask questions that show you're curious about her inner world, not just her outer one. In intimate settings, this means you're not rushing, you're not performing, you're exploring, you're curious, you're paying attention to how she responds. Not to validate yourself, but because you're genuinely interested in what she enjoys. That shift from performance to curiosity is massive. Need number 2: she needs to feel emotionally safe enough to surrender. This is the one most men miss entirely. They think arousal is physical, that if they do the right things, say the right words, touch the right places, she'll respond. Sometimes that works, but it's shallow and it doesn't last. Deep desire, the kind that makes a woman fully present, fully alive, fully surrendered, doesn't come from physical stimulation alone. It comes from emotional safety. And emotional safety is built on one thing: your ability to stay grounded when she's not. Women are emotional beings. They feel things intensely, and in intimate moments, emotions don't disappear, they amplify. She might feel vulnerable, insecure, self conscious, overwhelmed. And if you react to that, if you get uncomfortable or try to fix it or take it personally, she'll shut down. But if you stay calm, if you hold space for whatever she's feeling without needing her to be different, something shifts. She feels safe. And when she feels safe, she stops protecting herself. She stops managing your experience. She stops performing. She just feels, here's what this looks like in practice. You don't need her to be anything other than what she is in that moment. If she's quiet, you're okay with that. If she's emotional, you're okay with that. If she needs to slow down or pause, you're okay with that. You're not attached to the outcome. You're not trying to prove anything. You're just there, steady, present, unshaken. That steadiness is what allows her to let go because she knows she's safe with you, not just physically, emotionally. And that's when intimacy becomes something else entirely. Need number three, she needs you to lead without dominating. There's a paradox here that confuses a lot of men. Women want you to lead, but they don't want to feel controlled. They want to feel your presence, your clarity, your direction, but they also want to feel free. Most men fall into one of two traps. Either they're too passive, waiting for her to initiate, asking permission for everything, outsourcing decisions to her, or they're too forceful, dominating without attunement, pushing without reading her signals, treating leadership like control. Both fail. Real leadership and intimacy is about creating a container. She feels safe inside. It's about initiating without pressure, guiding without force, being clear in your desire while staying attuned to hers. It's confidence without arrogance, presence without aggression. Here's the key distinction: dominating is about you, leading is about both of you. When you dominate, you're imposing your will. When you lead, you're inviting her into an experience you're creating together. She feels the difference. And when she feels led, not controlled, but guided by someone who's present and attuned, she relaxes into the experience. She doesn't have to manage it. She doesn't have to perform. She can just receive. And that receiving, that trust, is where intimacy deepens. Need number four, she needs to feel desired for who she is, not just what she looks like. This ties back to being seen, but it goes deeper. Women are constantly objectified. They know what it feels like to be wanted for their appearance, their body, their surface level traits. And while physical attraction matters, it's not enough. What creates lasting desire is when she feels like you want her. Her personality, her quirks, her energy, her essence, not just the package, the person inside it. This is why the most attractive thing you can do is pay attention to who she is when no one's watching. What makes her laugh? What she's passionate about? What she's insecure about? What lights her up? When you show her that those things matter to you, that you're drawn to her, not just because she's beautiful, but because of who she is, everything changes. She stops performing. She stops trying to be what she thinks you want. Be. She just shows up. In intimate context, this looks like complimenting her in ways that aren't about her body, telling her you love the way she thinks, the way she moves through the world, the way she makes you feel. It's subtle, but it's powerful because it tells her, you see me, not just my surface, me. And that kind of validation, authentic, specific, rooted in who she actually is, creates a bond most people never experience. Need number five, she needs to feel like she can be fully expressed without judgment. Here's something most men don't realize. Women hold back not because they don't want to be expressive, but because they've learned it's not safe. They've been judged, shamed, made to feel like their desires, their sounds, their intensity is too much. So they edit themselves, they perform, they give you the version of themselves they think you want, and you might never even know. But if you create a space where she feels like she can be fully herself, no shame, no judgment, no performance, you unlock something rare. You get the real her. The her that's loud, messy, intense, vulnerable, unfiltered. And that's the version of her that experiences the deepest pleasure, the deepest connection, the deepest intimacy. How do you create that space? You don't react to her intensity. You don't make her feel like she's too much. You don't flinch when she's vulnerable or emotional or raw. You stay present. You stay curious. You stay grounded. You let her know through your energy, not your words, that all of her is welcome here. And when she feels that, she stops holding back. She shows you parts of herself she's never shown anyone. And that's where real intimacy lives. Need number 6, she needs to trust that you're not just performing for her approval. This is the one that separates the 1% from everyone else. Most men are approval seeking in intimacy. They're trying to make her happy, trying to get validation, trying to prove they're good enough. And she can feel it. She can feel when you're doing something because you want her reaction, not because you're genuinely into it. And that energy, that need for approval kills attraction because it makes the experience about you, about your performance, about whether you're measuring up. And that's pressure she doesn't want to carry. What she actually wants is a man who's in his own experience, who's genuinely enjoying himself, who's present, engaged, and authentic, not performing. She wants to feel your desire, not your need. Here's the shift. Stop doing things to get a reaction. Start doing things because you genuinely want to. Stop monitoring her to see if you're doing it right. Start being so present in your own body, your own experience, that she can feel your authenticity. Because when you're not performing, she doesn't have to either. And that's when intimacy becomes real. Need number 7, she needs emotional presence after intimacy, not just during. Most men check out after sex. They roll over, they fall asleep, they move on to the next thing. And that abandonment, even if it's unintentional, creates a gap. Because for women, intimacy doesn't end when the physical act does. Her nervous system is still open. Her emotions are still heightened. She's still vulnerable. And if you disappear physically or emotionally, she feels it as rejection. But if you stay present, if you hold her, if you create space for her to land softly, you complete the circuit. You show her you're safe here. I'm not going anywhere. This wasn't just physical for me. This is about after R. It's about eye contact, touch, soft conversation, presence. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be intentional because that presence after intimacy is what builds trust, what creates safety, what makes her want to go there with you again and again and again. So, how do you actually integrate this? You don't try to do all 7 at once. You start with presence. You practice being fully there in conversation, in touch, in silence. You notice when you're in your head, when you're performing, when you're seeking approval, and you come back to your body, to your breath, to the moment. You stop trying to control outcomes. You stop trying to impress. You just show up grounded, curious, present. And from that foundation, everything else flows. You start noticing her more, like you create safety naturally. You lead without forcing. You become someone she can fully relax around. And intimacy stops being something you do and becomes something you create together. If this resonated with you, I've put together a deeper resource on building emotional depth and masculine presence in relationships. It's not a course, it's not a program, it's a guide, practical, grounded, designed for men who want to understand the psychology of attraction and connection at a level most people never reach. You can find the link in the description. No pressure, just an option if you want to go deeper. Here's the truth. Intimacy isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are when you're with her. And the men who understand that the ones who can stay grounded, attuned, and emotionally available don't just satisfy women physically, they satisfy them emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. They create experiences most women have never had. Not because they're trying to, but because they've learned to show up as themselves, fully present, fully human, fully alive. That's the 1%. And if you made it this far, you're already closer than you think. If this hit, leave a comment. Let me know which of these 7 needs surprised you most. And if you're not subscribed, now's the time. I'll see you in the next